Alright guys, so today we'll be making the Apple style glass effect or glass morphism in After Effects. So with the After Effects open, the first thing we're going to do is to create a new composition. And I'm going to use the 1920 by 1080 29.97 FPS preset, and I'm going to click OK. So the next thing I'm going to do is to import my background. I'm going to use this one. So I've imported it. Now it's looking way bigger than my aspect ratio. Let me just fit this. So with your layer selected, you right click, go to transform. You can use any of the fit options. But I'm going to use fit to comp with. You can see the shortcut. Anyone that works depending on the aspect ratio of your background. So I'm going to use fit to comp with. Now, the next step is to create the shape. So I'm going to select the rectangle tool. Now, ensure your layer is not selected, because if your layer is selected, it's going to create it as a mask. But that is not what we want. So you can click any of the empty spaces to deselect your layer. So I'm going to draw my rectangle. And then I'm going to set the fill color to white and align or centralize my layers using the align options. So back to the selection tool. I'm now going to select the roundness and set it to 60. Now we have a nice round edge. The next thing we're going to do is to start creating the glass. So before that, let's give our glass effect a nice intro. So it's going to just animate in nicely. So I'm just going to expand this a little. You can also use the plus key on your keyboard. And at the 1 second mark, I'm going to keyframe the roundness and the size. And then that's the final position. I'm going to go to the beginning and set every other thing to 0. So once I set it to 0, it automatically creates keyframes. So if we play that, we have something like this. But I want it to animate smoothly, so we are going to edit the speed graph. But before that, select all your keyframes. Right click and go to keyframe assistant, easy ease. So the shortcut is F9. Click on easy ease. With your keyframe still selected, come to the graph editor. You can increase the zoom level and then box select this. Then use this node, drag it to the left and give it an influence of around 80% or something around that. Your graph should look like this. So if you don't see your speed graph, click here. It might be in value graph. So we are not using value graph here. We're using speed graph. So you can close your graph panel. And then if we play this, we have a nice animation. So let's continue with creating the glass. The next thing I'm going to do is to add an adjustment layer. So you right click, go to new and add an adjustment layer. Then you go to your effects and preset panel. If you don't see it, you go to window and turn on effects and presets. So you can come here and search for glass, and we'll use CC glass. Double click to add it to the adjustment layer. Make sure the adjustment layer is selected, or you can still do drag and drop, whichever one you prefer. So we are going to edit the options. With the adjustment layer selected, you come to your effect control adjustment, and then you open surface and select bump map to be our shape layer. And then we are going to edit the softness to 25. These are just my own settings for this tutorial. You can use whatever you like. And then I'll set height to be 60. And then we'll set the light to, instead of effect light, we'll use AE light. So now that is going to use any light layer we add to our project. So let's add a light layer. So we'll create new light and ambient light. Make sure your light type is ambient light. And if your intensity is at 100, set it to 200. So you click that and let's take it behind every other layer. Now, the next thing we are going to do is track matte the adjustment layer to the shape layer. It's just like when you do clipping mask in Photoshop. So what we are going to do, you can use this drop down or use the pick whip and track matte it to the shape layer. You can already see that it's taking effect. So to make it stand out and more visible, we are going to duplicate our shape layer with Ctrl D and then bring it above every other layer. All right, and then once we've done that, we are going to turn on the visibility, because once you track matte anything, the layer gets turned off. All right, so we are going to turn off the fill. So the fill color, that's in properties. If you don't see it, also go to Windows and turn on properties. All right, so we'll come to properties section, and then the fill color, we'll set it to none and set stroke width to 3. All right, so it gives us this nice outline. But now this is way too visible for the kind of glass we are trying to achieve. So we'll change the blend mode to overlay. All right, so once we've changed that to overlay, we have something nice like this. The next thing we are going to do is to create a drop shadow. So to do that, let's duplicate this shape layer again, and then this time we are going to set the blend mode back to normal and then fill color to solid. We're going to change the color to black and then stroke color back to 0. Stroke width back to 0. All right, so now we are going to bring this behind our first shape layer or above the background layer. This is the background layer. The next thing we are going to do is move this down a little bit. But before we do that, remember we added an ambient light, and this light only affects 3D layers. So let's make our layers 3D. Don't make the adjustment layer 3D. So make this 3D as well. So you can see that the light has taken effect. But if you want to turn off the light effect for any layer, for example, the background layer, you can open this, go to material options, you'll see accept lights, and you turn it off. We are setting this in 3D because if you want to do some kind of 3D animations or 3D movements, like using the After Effects camera, your layers have to be 3D layers. All right, your layers have to be 3D layers. We already have that sorted out. The next thing we are going to do is move this shadow layer down a little. So with the shadow layer selected, you can use this gizmo, not the background layer. So with the shape layer selected, that's the one we are using for the shadow. You can use this gizmo to move it in the y direction, move it downwards. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is to add a blur effect. So you come to your effects and presets panel and search for fast box blur. So you can double click to add it, or you drag and drop. So once you've done that, you can set blur radius to 30 So you have this nice blur effect. Now, to restrict it to the bounds of the original shape layer, we do track matte, more like clipping mask. So you use the track matte pick whip and target it as the original shape layer. But now we want this shadow to be outside, not inside. So you just invert the matte. So with the shadow layer selected, you click here to invert it. So if you feel the opacity is too much, you can open your shape controls and go to transform, set opacity to 50%. So if you want to quickly bring out your opacity settings, with your shape layer selected, just hit T on your keyboard. It's going to bring out opacity. So now you can see that we are already making so much progress. The next thing you want to do is to add blur. If you like to add blur to your glass, you can go to fast box blur and still add it to the adjustment layer. All right. So you can set blur radius to like 5 or 10. Yeah, I think 5 is cool. If you like 5. If you want it to be looking whitish, you can add brightness and contrast. So all of these things, you just search in the effects and presets panel. You add brightness and contrast, and then you can increase the brightness as you like. You can increase the brightness as you like. All right. So if this is what you want, you can, but I don't want the brightness. So what we are going to do now is I want to trim this to 4 seconds. So I'm going to come here to 4 seconds. You can either drag this or use the shortcut N on your keyboard to mark the out point. And once you've done that, you go to composition, trim comp to work area. You can see the shortcut, so that when we are trying to render this, it happens quickly. All right. So that's just what we are trying to do here. Now we have this nice animation. Let me set preview resolution to 3rd so that it renders faster. So at this point, I think I might want to add a text just to give you context of how we can actually use this. So you can write, let's say, download. So once you've done that, I'll go back to the selection tool and position this properly. No, I missed a letter. So download. So I'll take this to the top and then bring it to this point. So here, you can go to effects and presets. There are some text animation presets that After Effects already has. So you can, let's use typewriter. You can search for typewriter and then double click to add it. Now, with the distance of the keyframe, it will come in very slow. So you can just move them closer. Remember how to open your keyframes. Just hit U on your keyboard. You bring up your keyframes. So you can move this closer together so it animates in faster. So if we play this, you now see that we have something truly amazing. Can you see that? Let's do that again. So that's just it. That's all for today's tutorial. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.